In today's video, I'm going to discuss why I'm not going to buy the DJI Air 3, as tempting as it is. Instead, I'm going to stick with the DJI Mini 3 Pro and the DJI Air 2S. When DJI release a new drone now, you see the notification, don't you? And you're like, that's cute. Didn't they release a drone last week? And then you just get that little temptation. Just have a quick look at the trailer. Oh, look at that. Look at that horse. Look at the compressed image. And then it tempts you to just watch a review. Before you know it, you're on a binge watch of reviews. Next minute, you got your credit card out. Take my card details off me, DJI. I'm in. It can be very tempting. The thing is, when you watch reviews, you can start to feel almost like you know the creator. And they're like, come on, over, have a look at this. It's almost like you're there. See that 70mm, and you just start to picture yourself. I could create these epic shots. I could take this new drone to all these spots. However, what I want you guys to do is think it through. There are a lot of things that have been left out in a lot of reviews. Now, I'm not saying that all YouTubers are dishonest. I think some YouTubers can be slightly selective because they want the purchase and the affiliate links. I don't think there's anything wrong with having your affiliate link, but I do think sometimes people can get a little bit overexcited about new drones. Now, straight away, I'll say, I actually think the DJI Air 3 is a really good drone. It does a lot of things really well. It's packed with features. There's a lot of things like waypoints that people have been asking for time and time again. And the one thing I am actually quite jealous about is that 70mm lens, because it does look really good. In the right context, in the right scenario, it can look fantastic. However, what I want you guys to do is actually think about the last drone trip you went on. How often would you really use that lens? Certain context, let's say you're doing an orbit of yourself stood on a mountain. Show you the shot I did in Mallorca. This shot would look more dramatic, there's no doubt, having that 70mm, having the more compressed image and creating more beautiful parallaxing effect. But I still think that wide angle shots are the best shots that you can capture on your drone. The last trip I did to Edinburgh, I went with the Sony a7S III and the Mini 3 Pro, and I really like the combination. I loved being able to, with flight restrictions, being able to fly the sub 250 gram drone, a quieter drone than the Air 2S or now the DJI Air 3. But people are talking a lot on reviews about this compressed image that you have with the DJI Air 3, and that is true. But I personally love going from the normal land camera on the a7S III that you're seeing here, and then going to the wide angle shot on the drone. You can have too much of one thing and then you have analysis paralysis. Picture yourself, you're setting up in the morning, you're packing your bag, you've got your main camera, you've got your gimbal, and then do I take the Mini 3 Pro or do I take the DJI Air 3? You might be in some spots and you're not quite sure how the day is going to go. Are you going to be in an area where you can only use a sub 250 gram drone? You're going to have loads of different batteries to charge, and it might take the fun out of having the drone. And you want to go out with the most fun drone sometimes. And for me, that's the Mini 3 Pro. It's fun. And remember, as I said in my review about it as a travel drone, that yeah, you're not going to be hired for Netflix with this drone, but they do take it as backup. So in certain situations, the lighting is really good. Now, there's been a lot of talk on YouTube and Twitter and everything how the Air 3 only has the same size sensor as the Mini 3 Pro, and a lot of people have said that therefore the image quality isn't going to be as good as the Air 2S, which has a 1-inch sensor. However, I've looked at a lot of reviews and I actually think that they've done a really good job, DJI, and I think that the Air 3 does really good images and the low light performance is incredible. So I do actually think overall it is going to be an upgrade from the Air 2S. However, there's so many drones coming out, and personally, I want to be excited about that new technology and thinking ahead. One of the main reasons why I'm not pulling the trigger with the DJI Air 3 is I do think there's a strong chance that we get DJI Air 3S. Nothing's certain, no one knows for sure. And if you're getting the DJI Air 3 now, some of you guys might say, what's the point in waiting? You don't know what's around the corner. I want to make the use of this now. And I think there might be some extreme examples. Let's say you've got a trip booked tomorrow well, your drone wouldn't arrive in time, but in like a week's time, and you're gonna go to a once in a lifetime volcano where you wouldn't feel safe flying your drone over there. You could use the telephoto, you know, the 70mm to zoom in on that lava. Maybe for you guys, the Air 3 might fit in with that plan. But I think for a lot of people, you're gonna get more sense of FOMO, where you see the content creators go out there. You have to really think, is this right for you? Is this the right business decision for you? You know, I have a gap here where I have the Mavic Air 2, which is the only drone I've ever sold. And it's kind of a forgotten about drone. If they do release an Air 3S in maybe a year's time, it might not be that much more expensive than DJI Air 3. If they do that, and I think it's very likely, I think that'll be the drone that we're talking about 2-3 years down the line. I think DJI Air 3, as exciting as it is now, it could easily be forgotten about. I do think it's a really good drone, and it's like they've got a lot of features in from different drones and put it all in one, and a lot of people are going to be really excited about waypoints. If you've been waiting for that a long time, I do think it's a great feature. A lot of people love that. And creatively, how I would use waypoints is, I see it on Apperture documentaries. So you can film at the same location, the same shot, a different season. Remember those guys that have been around for a while with the Phantom series, when it's just all laid out on the table. So you had the standard, the advanced and the professional. And then you could just make a decision. Whereas now it feels like there's a lot of drones released at separate points. And look, it's DJI's business, it's up to them what they do with it. The way I view it is, the improvements they make with this Air 3, in the future I'll benefit from. They have improved the image quality on the DJI Air 3. This is exciting because when the DJI Mini 4 Pro comes out, the same advancements, keeping that sensor light, but still having the image quality, still having the good low light performance, that's surely going to trickle down to the Mini series. So I don't want to be like a spoiled child at Christmas, you know, getting this, getting that, and then just being overwhelmed. Another really important thing to remember, guys, is when a new drone comes out, there is the FOMO, there is the pressure to buy it, you see it on your feed, but there's going to be a lot of firmware updates. So if you're ready for that, if you're happy to see middle-aged bloke almost every week with a new drone, that today we're going to fix this bug problem, that bug problem, then yeah, go for it. If you love updating your drone, if you want to see a middle-aged bloke every week updating his drone, seeing his controller, then I would definitely get the Air 3. I think it's going to be great. Loads of firmware updates, loads of bugs to fix. Please enjoy that. Welcome to Tone's Drones Firmware Update channel. You can buy a mug of my face in the description. Today, an update drone must watch. One thing which I'm a bit disappointed with the Air 3 is it doesn't have variable aperture. And remember, on one of the lenses it's 1.7 and on the 70mm it's 2.8. But at the moment you have the same ND filter, so you can have ND64 going on to both lenses. That's going to create a problem. You've got the drone up there. If you want to stick to filming at the right shutter speed, you might have to go to ISA 200 on the 70mm, which is going to be really frustrating. Maybe think about the Mavic 3 Classic instead. You know, everyone's rushing out to sell that drone, and then you've got a drone which does the wide angle shot better. You could market yourself with that drone. You could have it on your website. You could be, now you're ready to be hired by networks to film documentaries. I don't think the Air 3 is quite good enough to market yourself in that same way. So something to consider. I know that networks do use the Mavic 3 Classic and the Mavic 3 Pro. Something to factor in, guys, if you are going to go for the DJI Air 3, is it is a louder drone than the Mini 3 Pro. It's 81 decibels, whereas this is about 50-55 decibels, so it's going to be considerably louder, and that's just one of those things that when I'm planning a trip going out, I have it at the back of my mind. It can be a bit of an excuse not to go out because you're starting to think it's going to be really loud, attract a lot of attention. Something I will throw in as well is I can understand it's very tempting to get a new drone because we get bored of our local area. So when we see this new drone come up, we think, okay, I can go back to that castle and create a new shot by having the telephoto lens. And I can 100% understand that. It refreshes how you film. What I would throw into the mix though, guys, is this. I'm just at the moment testing this anamorphic filter for the DJI Mini 3 Pro, and it is amazing. So wait for the review on that. It effectively almost gives you a new lens, gives you a more cinematic look. So if you're getting slightly bored with the DJI Mini 3 Pro, rather than splashing out a ton of money on the Air 3. It's worth considering just getting the anamorphic adapter. Then that'll give you the local areas that you may be slightly bored of filming. It'll freshen things up and just give you a new perspective. It just creates these beautiful cinematic streaks like you see in blockbuster films. And when I first saw this, I thought I was mostly excited about that, but just normal footage really does look like a film with this. So stick around for the review on this because I'm really excited. Even if you have the budget for the DJI Air 3, there's always the opportunity cost, so spending it on just going to more locations. Your money is often best spent on that because those are the memories that are going to keep with you. You're taking your drone, you're going to get better at filming in the course of that week when you go wherever it is. I would always say with drones as well from experience that there's always more cost than you expect. There's a lot of hassle selling your drone as well, so that's why I was a little bit annoyed, if I'm honest, when the Mavic Air 2 and then the Air 2S came out afterwards, because it's the inconvenience of having to photograph your drone, package it up. Now, some people have been saying about the vertical shooting, but personally I don't use it that much, so for me it's not a deal breaker, but it is true that with the Mini 3 Pro you get true vertical video where it flips around, whereas you only got 2.7K on the Air 3. I want to end on a positive note about the Air 3. If you've come from, let's say hypothetically, you've been on the Mavic Air original, you've not paid attention to drones, for some reason you take your inkling to just, let's have a look, and then you get the Air 3, the improvement is going to be huge. So if you skip a generation, which is what I'm doing in this instance, then you reap the reward. You reap several benefits rather than just going model to model, getting every single drone that comes out there. It's just going to shred your bank account to pieces, and you're going to waste so much time with updating your drone, all these firmware updates. You're not going to have enough money to go on locate, unless you're a millionaire. Look, if you're a millionaire, buy 3 DJI Air 3s, just go for it. Just buy a ton of them, fill your whole room with them. But there's opportunity cost, there's money to be spent on other things. I'm a full-time filmmaker, droning is part of that, and I really started this channel as almost a challenge to film more drone content. But my main thing, the main reason I get hired is for the main camera, and the drone is really a backup. So I think the Mini series fits in really well with that, and I'm really excited to get, if I get a 20% improvement, only 20% improvement in low light on this in the Mini 4, plus the omnidirectional obstacle avoidance, then I'll be really happy. But I'm willing to wait 6-8 months for that drone whenever it comes out. What I will say with these speculation videos and reviews, that the actual educational content is more important, and that is free to watch. It's a shame on my channel, people tune in for the reviews, but the educational content's free. So the best thing, the cheapest way, is to get better at your drone moves, all these things. Subscribe to the channel, smash the like button on your way out, and those will be the things that are actually going to improve you, because you can almost like buy your way out of boredom. So I'll buy the new drone to create these shots. Another way of looking at it is improve your education, improve your skills, which is free. It's free on my channel. Then go out with new skills to work on with the drone that you've already had.